Bollywood is the largest film industry in the world, churning out content appealing to people all over the world. Bollywood has been stereotyped as having a cheesy romance, a lot of music tracks, dancing, attractive leads, and extremely predictable plot twists. However, Bollywood has managed to make some really amazing content, and it's quite difficult to choose just a few good films in Bollywood. We did, however, try, and in this video, we have the top 10 Bollywood movies of all time. Number 10. Sholay 1975. Sholay is one of Bollywood's most successful films. The movie broke every box office record at the time it was released in 1975. With a star cast of Dharmendra, Amitabh Bachchan, Sanjeev Kumar, Hema Malini, Jaya Bhaduri, and Amjad Khan, the movie is a cult classic. The action-adventure film follows the story of two criminals and a retired police officer who join forces to take down another local criminal after the criminal murders the officer's family. The movie is about friendship, love, and even after all these years, it's still just as fresh and vibrant. It was directed by Ramesh Sippy. It opened to negative critical reviews but soon became a box office success, running for more than 5 years in theaters. The film was the highest grossing film up until 1994. Number 9. Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge 1995. If you're talking about Bollywood, you can't not talk about Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. This 1995 classic set the stage for all Bollywood rom-coms. The film was directed by Aditya Chopra and was his directorial debut. Starring Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol in the lead roles, the story is about two young people, Raj and Simran, who fall in love while on a trip across Europe. They want to get married and Raj tries to win over Simran's family, but her father has already promised her hand to his friend's son. The film has all the traits of a good rom-com: forbidden love, incredible chemistry, super hit album, and a great story. The film was so well received that it ran in some theaters for around 23 years. The film won a National Film Award and the soundtrack was one of the most popular in the 1990s. The film was praised by critics and audience alike and is a cult classic of the 1900s Bollywood. Number 8. Queen 2013. Queen is a story of Rani Mehra, a young girl from Delhi who is grown up in a protective Indian family. When Rani gets left at the altar on her wedding day, the 24-year-old woman decides to go on her planned honeymoon by herself. Rani meets new people and makes new friends on her journey, experiencing the world in a very different way than what she had expected. The film is a story of empowerment, freedom, and finding oneself. Rani, played by Kangana Ranaut, became a cult feminist character. The film is directed by Vikas Bell and also stars Rajkumar Rao and Lisa Hayden in supporting roles. The film became one of the highest grossing Indian films with a female protagonist and won several awards. Kangana Ranaut also won a National Film Award for her role. Queen was ranked among the 10 greatest films in India of the 21st century by the British Film Institute. Number 7. Mughal-e-Azam 1960. Mughal-e-Azam was a milestone in the history of Indian cinema. One of the most expensive films in Hindi cinema, Mughal-e-Azam was directed by K. Asif and starred Dilip Kumar, Prithvi Raj Kapoor and Madhubala in the lead roles. The film is an eternal love story of Mughal prince Salim, who went on to become Jahangir, and a court dancer Anarkali. Emperor Akbar, Salim's father, disapproves of the relationship and it turns into a war between father and son. The grandeur and attention to detail in this film is like no other of its time. This, along with the stellar performances of the cast, earned a lot of praise from critics as well as the audience. The film has been rated as the greatest Bollywood film of all times. When it was released, it broke all the box office records in India and became the highest grossing films of all time. The film won a National Film Award. It was the first Hindi film to be digitally colored, and the colored version was released in 2004. Number 6. Three Idiots 2009. When Three Idiots released in 2009, it broke all the previous box office records. It was one of the most commercially successful Bollywood films of all time and is a fan favorite. The film was the highest grossing film in its opening weekend and had the highest net collections in the first week. It was also the highest grossing Indian film of the 2000s at the time. The coming-of-age comedy drama is a hilarious satire, heavily critiquing the Indian educational system and the stress it causes to students. The film follows the lives of three engineering students, narrated through jumps between the past and the present. The concept and the script are phenomenal and the music is beautiful. The movie stars Amir Khan, R. Madhavan and Sharman Joshi in the lead roles. It's directed by Rajkumar Hirani and is loosely adapted from Chetan Bhagat's novel 5 Point Someone. The film incorporated real inventions created by Ramya Jose, Muhammad Idris, Jahangir Painter, and Sonam Wangchuk, the last of whom also influenced part of Amir Khan's character. Three Idiots won 3 National Film Awards and the grand prize at Japan's Video Yasen Awards. Number 5. Lagan, Once Upon a Time in India, 2001. Lagan brings together two things that bind all Indians together: cricket and patriotism. Set in 1893, the story is about the people of a small village, Champaner, in central India, who are burdened by high taxes on top of many years of drought in the region. They stand up against the cruel British colonials by challenging them to a cricket match. The word Lagan translates to agricultural tax, which sounds extremely boring, honestly, but the film is the complete opposite. In fact, the film was so good that it was nominated for the Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. The sports drama is directed by Ashutosh Gowarikar and stars Amir Khan, Gracie Singh, and British actors Rachel Shelley and Paul Blackthorne. At the time of its release, Lagan was the most expensive Indian film. Number 4. The Lunchbox 2013. The Lunchbox is a beautiful film, telling a beautiful story in a subtle way. A woman named Ela is a young wife in a marriage which has lost its spark. To rekindle the romance, she prepares a special lunch for her husband and sends it to his office with the Dabbawalas in Mumbai. The plan doesn't go according to plan, however, when the lunchbox ends up going to an antisocial widower, Sergeant Fernandez, instead, due to a mix-up. She feels dejected when her husband doesn't mention the meal at all, so she adds a note to the lunchbox the next day. The lunchbox also goes to the widower, and an unlikely friendship is created between the two. The film is directed by Ritesh Batra and stars Irfan Khan and Nimrat Kaur. It was screened at the 2013 Cannes Film Festival and won the Critics' Week Viewers' Choice Award as well. Number 3. Pyasa 1957. Artists rarely get their due recognition during their lifetime. The 1957 musical romance Pyasa confirms it. Vijay is an unsuccessful poet. He writes poems about the poor and destitute, and is ridiculed by his brothers and publishers who want to focus on the conventional romantic poems rather than the social problems in the world. The only person who encourages him is a sweet prostitute named Gulabo. When a homeless man wearing a coat that Vijay gave him is murdered, it's Vijay who is mistakenly assumed to be dead. Gulabo, believing that Vijay is dead, convinces a publisher to get his works published in his honor. Because of the news of Vijay's death, his poems became widely popular. But when Vijay returns to his fame, he finds that the audience has become much less reverent. Guru Dutt and Wahida Rehman play the lead roles in this film, directed by Guru Dutt himself. Number 2. Anand 1971. A cult movie in Indian cinema. Anand needs to be on your list if you're a film enthusiast. The story is extremely simple. Dr. Bhaskar Banerjee struggles to cope with the poverty and suffering he sees among his patients on a daily basis. He encounters Anand Sehgal, a cancer patient who's about to die. Anand is a very cheerful young man. Upon learning about his impending death, he decides to live the remaining of his life to the fullest. He doesn't get scared or unhappy. His behavior leaves a profound impact on Dr. Banerjee, who later writes a heartwarming bestseller based on recorded interviews with Anand. The film stars Rajesh Khanna and Amitabh Bachchan in the lead roles. Number 1. Mother India 1957. Mother India is a 1957 Indian epic drama film. Directed by Mehboob Khan, the film stars Nargis, Rajkumar, Rajendra Kumar, and Sunil Dutt in the lead roles. Mother India is a story of a village woman, Radha, who is married to Shamu. The loan they take for their wedding ceremony keeps piling. When a loose boulder crushes Shamu's arm and makes him incapable of working, he feels humiliated at his inability to provide for his own family. Radha, without any help, struggles to raise her 2 sons, while the obstacles just keep coming. The movie Mother India represents India in the aftermath of its independence in 1947, and the lead character is seen as a representation of an Indian woman. How many movies from this list have you already watched? Which one are you going to be watching next? Let us know in the comments. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more.